All right, cool, sweet.
TikTok going. Dude, I'm like picking up followers on TikTok today. People are paying attention to
Dude,
New Hampshire right now.
I wonder if at a certain point, like you get to a certain amount of followers and then it's just like because I watch your followers and it's like going up so fast, like hundreds at a time almost. Like I don't know. Like
I feel like I've been stuck for a little bit, but
really?
I don't know. Not stuck, but like I've definitely leveled out. Except so recently I'm noticing I'm like I usually get like a handful a day, but not like nothing crazy.
Right.
All right, I'm going live. I'm going live on Twitch. Wait till you see I forgot I made this background earlier today.
Oh shit, yeah, I need to make a real background here. Hold on one second. I'm gonna put a quick ad so people don't get ads. I'm gonna put an ad on mine. I gotta teach you how to do this. So like because Twitch will randomly put in ads while we're talking, but you can control them. You can like start the show with an ad and then it'll be like an hour of no ads or whatever.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. All right, you're on TikTok right now?
I'm on TikTok.
All right, so no more naughty stuff.
No more naughty stuff.
All right, fine.
And then I also want to make sure so you start with Nashua and I want to pull in that video from Rat as well to talk about the people's potluck. Do you want to talk about that from your perspective too?
Absolutely. We can both talk about that, yeah. Nice.
Friends.
Nice background. Yes. All right, I'm going to have to do a good one too.
Oh my god. Hey guys. What's
Hello,
up?
everyone.
Arya and I are just getting set up as usual, getting our acts together. Give us a second as we get going. We're here to talk about some New Hampshire stuff today. We got a good chat. We have a very stacked agenda. So, for those who don't know, Ari and I do these lives every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, typically. And let's say we are not the most organized people when it comes to preparing for them. We do our best, but we have like a thread that we use, and it is full of TikToks and stuff that we want to talk about today. It is like that group is popping this morning. And by group, I mean it's just me and Arya sending TikToks back and forth about stuff we want to talk about.
I have like a guest request
Thanks
sent
for being
on your
here.
TikTok, but
Oh, let me try again. There you go.
nice.
There you go.
All right, let me see.
Happy hump day.
I'm going to set up something here too. You're not the only.
Get some good stuff in there. All right, guys, we're getting started.
Yeah, we still need
Thanks for joining.
We need an intro video.
Go ahead. I know. Well, we got to figure out the name first. Okay, should we I feel like that needs our first topic is what do we name this thing? What do we start calling this? I think people are starting to really be like, what are you calling it? And I'm like, I don't know. Don't make me the branding, it gives me stress. I'm like, I got to commit to something now, but we're getting a lot of attention lately. So we're still just kind of getting our stuff together. Arya's working on pulling up a really nice backdrop for himself.
No, forget. It's going to be a little bit of yours too. Whatever.
That's okay.
I'll fix it later.
You can ride my coattails.
Absolutely. So how's everyone doing? How are you doing, Marissa? How you feeling right now?
I don't know. I'm like a little frazzled today, honestly. Like I'm getting I'm having a hard time like articulating how I'm feeling because there's like a lot happening right now. And I think the biggest, the top line emotion is just like, okay, this does suck, right? This is like a really shitty moment that we're in and it's really difficult. And I think people are grappling with the reality that like the decision of our girls here is really going to impact a lot of people's lives and is really going to harm people. And that's awful. But I think the other thing that's happening right now is people in New Hampshire are paying attention in a different way than they have before. And so I am getting a lot I'm getting a lot of sort of people reaching out who want to talk about different things, a lot of folks who are asking us to look into different stuff. No, Nerdy Blonde, did y'all see Pappas's capitulation on NHHP? Yeah, I saw you tagged me in a comment on that, but I have not had time to watch the full podcast. So if you want to leave a comment, let me know. New Hampshire, what's NHH? Are you talking about New Hampshire has? Is it called New Hampshire has problems? New Hampshire has issues. Anyway, there's a pod. He just did a long podcast appearance where he was talking about what happened. Basically, said that he was agreeing with their decision from the healthcare on the healthcare stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, right? Like we have to. We've been. Yeah, New Hampshire has issues. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, there's a podcast called New Hampshire Has Issues. They do deep dives on a lot of the stuff that's going on here in New Hampshire. They do great work and are able to get into topics on a level of depth that I'm not able to reach personally. And so I think it's great. They do great content. They had Chris Pappas on their podcast, which I think is so interesting that it's an interesting indicator that like these people are starting to pay attention to the internet ecosystem that's happening around us. And so that's very interesting to me. It's unsurprising to me that he's capitulating and he is aligning with them. This is exactly what we've been talking about all along is that like these folks really are moving and operating as a unit. There is very little daylight between any of our federal delegation. And so we should be until we see evidence otherwise, we should assume that they are all thinking and operating the same way. They are yeah, so it's not surprising. Chris Pappas and Jeanne Shaheen are in lockstep. I think I shared this anecdote last time, but I've heard folks say that when you watch Chris Pappas at political events with Stephanie Shaheen, you'll see that like the same person is carrying their bags around, right? It's like they're operating as a shared campaign unit almost. And so we have to treat these people as the unit they are behaving as. And so we have to hold them all equally accountable for this stuff because there really is no daylight between them. Anyway, I got sidetracked in the comments already.
I love
3 minutes in.
That's a
But
good.
Arya,
It's a good.
that's to answer your question. Yeah. I think we're just in a really like crazy moment right now. I think people are like they're real. There's a lot of new folks that are, I think, able to be scooped into the fold. And so, like, if you're here for the first time, welcome. We're happy to have you. Join us on Twitch. If you're here on TikTok, we are also live on Twitch. Also, for the record, if anyone is in the Twitch chat and wants to let me know how
Oh,
if my audio is all right, I know I was having issues last time.
turn
Let me know.
the share chat on if you can, because I don't think I'm seeing the
Is it
comments that
on?
you're seeing. I'm not sure. I don't. I
Yeah,
see.
hold on.
So I can
Oh
see
yeah,
the.
you're right. I just didn't turn it on.
So I
There we
can see
go.
the riffraff speaking to you.
I know. I need to see our buddies. But yeah, if it's your first time, welcome. We would love if you're paying attention and you are stopping on your feed because you're like, oh yeah, I'm fucking mad at these people. We are too. And we're not just mad. We also are like making connections and inroads and doing work. And there's a lot happening here. So we are not just mad. We are not just here to be mad. We are here to be productive and to make a better future for all of us. So that's the goal. Thank you for being here with us. Arya, how are you feeling? Bridget, if you are able to, do you mind just popping into my feed for a second and telling me if my audio is bad still? Because I did change a setting on it and I need to make sure that I got to get my shit together and make sure we look good.
I
Over to you, Arya. How are you doing?
I am. I mean, I'm. It's been. I'm a mixed bag of emotions. You know, I am constantly trying to look at like all sides of everything. Sometimes it is just I go down rabbit holes, and I know a lot of people are making the connections with the the PACs and the lobbyist money, and again the same issues that we've been having with the Democratic Party. What we've been talking about for a long time now. I mean, God, like since even before the 2024 election, I'm sitting here saying we're not going to win this race because you can't excite people to come out. Like you don't have enough issues that are exciting, motivating, like low propensity voters to show up at the polls. And you were ceding all this ground to the right while you were actively moving to the right, right? Like that's something that we've brought up all the time that like instead of dealing with your left and like going after policies that are obviously popular all around the country and you're seeing it now almost like a runaway train after Zohran Mamdani. I feel like there was almost like the dam was almost unleashed, right? there was like a just a surge of hope, a surge, and then just like you would expect out of a establishment that is again historically militantly against their left flank and would rather, prop up a Trump supported, mayoral candidate in New York City, in Andrew Cuomo. They'd rather side with Republicans there, right? These are canaries in the coal mine. I want to be super fucking excited about Zohran Mamdani, and the people in New York City should be very, very excited. I don't want to take away from that. But I do believe, again, and we're seeing it on the ground level here in New Hampshire. One of our problems is if we don't show enough contrast to the ruling party, we are going to lose more seats. We are going to lose all the seats in New Hampshire. Right now, we have four. For those that don't know, New Hampshire has 4 federal delegates, right? We have 2 congressional delegates and we have 2 senators. All 4 of them are Democrats. But obviously, all 4 of them are very moderate Democrats, or what we like to call Republican lights here. And they're voting that way, right? So the messaging here, as much as like we are talking about like these winds of change, and again, shout out to fucking Seattle, by the way. You guys go check out Seattle, the mayoral election there. It looks like a workers' party, a member of the workers' party is going to win that. That is humongous. That is humongous and should be getting just as much attention as New York City, because that is it's like a third party, right? It's like we're talking about like now we are getting into the Tea Party-ish leftist party type. Our Tea Party moment is possibly occurring. And what happened with the right-wing Tea Party? They captured the Republican Party. They did. That Republican Party has become an insurgent. They don't know how to govern. They're like a historically insurgent minority that can't govern. When they're governing, they're losing 60,000 jobs a month and cutting SNAP and cutting Medicaid, right? Like that's their version of governing. But Democrats have to be very careful here, to their detriment and to our strength. Our momentum is the strongest it's ever been right now. And that's why I believe as a community here in New Hampshire, it is incumbent on us to shoot a signal flare out into the fucking country that we are here. We are entering the battle. New Hampshire's not just the Alabama of the North. It is the most conservative state in New England. But there is a budding progressive movement here. There are options in the primaries. Every place is being primaried right now by progressive candidates. After us, I just want to shout out really quickly. After us, if you go stay on TikTok Live, you go to John Kuiper's TikTok. He is going to be speaking with Paige Boschman, who's running for U.S. Congress, against Maggie Goodlander, an incumbent who takes 90% of her money out of state, 0.07% grassroots donations. She is the definition of one of these corporate suits that should be in danger right now. So I behoove everyone, go check out some of these candidates. Paige Boschman, John Kuiper for governor. He goes live 5 days a week. Heath Howard, Jared Sullivan and Karishma Manzoor are both progressive candidates that are primarying or are running for the empty seat that Jeanne Shaheen is retiring against Chris Pappas. Again, one of our other favorites out here, right? Mr. Chicken Tendies and his 800 grand from Israel. So we want to be clear here that like we're not just pissed, we're motivated, right? This is the time to push our candidates. This is the time to speak with clarity, moral clarity, what we expect from our candidates, and to draw a line here, because it is obvious that we have a hostile government and a controlled opposition now. No one is coming to save us. There is no cavalry coming to save us right now. But we do have candidates all over the country, and it's incumbent on us to make these connections, to be the connective tissue, and we want you guys to be with us. People are going to know about this community in time. If they haven't, we are going to catch the attention of this state and hopefully help catch the attention of the country.
I knew when you showed up today with glasses on that you were here to school
Sorry.
us. I was like, Professor Arya is here today.
Sorry.
Class is in session. Like, let's fucking go. No, I absolutely agree. And I think it's important, like we set that context for anybody new that's here. As for folks who are joining us on TikTok, we are on Twitch as well. And we'll be screen sharing and watching some things together. We do have a Discord. It is linked in my link tree. But if you're looking, and that is a broad NH Talk Discord for anybody who's interested in talking. There's over 100 people in there that are from all over the state. It's a great place to start. People post a lot of different resources. And then I've had a lot of folks reaching out to me directly over the last few days asking how to get involved with campaigns. And what I've told everybody is, Arya just went through a great list of folks we have running for. There's a lot of competition for these seats, and there's a lot of great progressive folks that are. The link won't work. Thank you for letting me know. I will update it. If anybody in here, if anybody's in the TikTok chat that has a minute to pull the Discord link, an updated version, sometimes they die out and you want to put it in the chat, go for it. If not, I'll update it in my bio after this. But people, I would say now is a really important moment when there is this anger, and it is important to use that for action. And so there's so much mutual aid work happening that I think the mutual aid piece is extremely important. I think supporting the candidates is extremely important. And that is as easy as engaging on social media. I was chatting with somebody about this last night. I was, like candidly, last night I was Tuesday night is Dancing with the Stars night. Okay. So Marissa likes to disassociate a little bit on Tuesday nights. And I just have a little like adult gummy vitamin and just have a great time. Right. And I was watching Dancing with the Stars, and on the commercial, I was watching my other favorite show, which is John Kuiper's TikTok Live. And I was just thinking about it objectively. And I was like, how crazy is it that like we have our one Democratic gubernatorial candidate is literally just on live all the time, just like answering any questions, and he will talk about anything. And like it's funny to see people try to trick him, because John, I feel like, is one of the like most no bullshit political candidates I've ever seen, where like you can't trick him because he's going to just tell you what he thinks no matter what. And I was dying. There's just one like little anecdote I'll share, and then let's move on to the Nashua stuff. But there was a little anecdote about somebody was in the comments who was there for the first time, and they were like, I want to make sure I'm in the right room. If I say free free, you say, with the fill in the blank being Palestine. But it's very hard to do that. Like when you're reading comments and doing this, as you guys know, I get distracted all the time. It's really hard to like keep up with your own stream of thought, the other person's stream of thought, what's coming in comments. So he's like trying to understand what they're saying. He's like, free healthcare, free education. And the person was like, no, this is what I'm looking for. And he was like, oh my God. Yeah. And he goes on like a 10-minute rant about all the things that he would do if it would help as governor of New Hampshire. He's like, I'll get on a fucking boat. Tell me what to do. I'll get on a fucking boat tomorrow if you tell me that's helpful. Like, I'll do anything to help those people. All that to say, like, we have people here who are really trying to fight the good fight and like put out good messaging, and be a, you say this all the time, Arya, be a sharp contrast to what Bridget was there. Perfect. That was to put out a sharp contrast to what we're seeing from our representations. It's our representation in DC, our representation in the state house. It's not enough to just talk shit about these people, as much as I love to talk shit about them, because that is how my anger takes form. We also need to use that to support the other candidates that are coming up. I think as a great example, obviously we've been talking about Mamdani a lot, but like we have seen a little bit of virality really move the needle on campaigns. And so send people your ideas. I send these guys unsolicited ideas all the time. Send people ideas of what they can be doing. They don't have a lot of money. They don't have major campaign staff. Arya has mentioned he's working on Paige Boschman's campaign. These are very, very small groups of people. They don't have a lot of resources. And so boost their content, repost their stuff, give them ideas, amplify them, share funny TikTok trends you think they should be doing. Like, this is all of us needing to kind of support these people together. Like, I think we need to start treating it like a team project. And that's kind of where I'm coming from on this. So
No,
any other thoughts to get us started off, or you want to talk about Nashua?
no, that's it. I mean, I just to accentuate what you said, that's why you're going to start seeing, I think, And again, this has been my advice to all the progressive campaigns, including Paige Boschman's and my talks with you, is that they are much stronger together against this powerful force, especially in New Hampshire. We have talked a lot about the ingrained nature of the Shaheens and the political establishment here in New Hampshire, and how New Hampshire has a lot of sway in America because of its placement in the primaries, and how this is all this big political machine with support from the DC machine that is against people like John Kuiper. And so we understand, like, it's so hard for me to message, like, I'm the comms director, right? I want to stay away from fundraising because I don't want to ask people for money. I get how hard it is. I don't want to ask people for money for like a business, never mind like to help a campaign that I really care about, because I know how important that is and how I've been badgered by the DNC myself for giving money all the time. And look what they've done. But if you can't give money, yeah, it's the little things like that, sharing stuff. Oh my God, that's worth its weight in gold. You know, like for us, for a team like us, right? Which is, we are working on bare bones, but that's part of the messaging here. We don't want the corporate money. We want your support, however that shows up. So definitely, and that's why I behoove you guys, go check out Kuiper and Paige Boschman on their stream afterwards. I think you're going to see some great conversations there. They're two very awesome personalities. I actually am excited to see them talk too, which is, it's just kind of crazy. It's going to be kind of crazy. But
I'm gonna be putting that. I didn't think about the fact that they're going live right after we wrap up. So I will be watching that this afternoon while I'm catching up on my work, because I am
absolutely,
curious to see the two of them.
it should be a
Neither
fun
one of
watch.
them has much of a, they don't have a filter in the best way, in the sense that like they'll tell you what they think. And if you ask them questions, they're gonna tell you what they think. And so I think that's gonna be great. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch them.
Absolutely. And just to segue off of that, I want to talk quickly about something that's going on in New Hampshire, that's going on in my neck of the woods, in Nashua, New Hampshire, which is one of the bigger cities in Nashua. It is like one of the most southern points, one of the bigger cities in New Hampshire. It's one of the most southern points of New Hampshire. It's where there's when I was in college in Boston, I used to joke to people, like, if you look at a state of New Hampshire, there's like an imaginary line in Concord, and like if you go below that, it's like there's more people than animals, and then you go above that, there's more animals than people. So we're not like we're much more like Boston, right, than we are like North Country. It's very true. And here in Nashua, we have we have aldermen, right? We have about 15 aldermen, and a majority Democratic aldermen. And on October 28th, there was a vote, and I'm just going to pop this up right now. On October 28th, there was a vote to essentially criminalize poverty. Okay. The same stuff that we get pissed about Gavin Newsom doing in California. It's like it's not dealing with the issue, right? So what the ordinance basically does, it makes like homelessness illegal. And it's focusing on a specific part of Nashua that happens to have a two or three encampments and some RV vehicles. And it was pretty surreal watching some of the conversations coming out. And what had happened is the small business owners in Nashua, which my family has a small business, and they were disgusted by this, right? Like, they were complaining that the optics of the homeless encampments were affecting the businesses. That affects the aldermen, even the Democratic ones. That affects them more than the issue, which is you have literally homeless encampments in Nashua. Nashua, one of the most, I mean, as far as I remember, is like historically annually voted one of the best cities in the country to live, right? Is like in all these different in the country, like, and New England has a lot of these cities, right? New England is perpetually has a city here and there that, but New Hampshire and Nashua, especially in multiple cities, but Nashua is one of those cities that is always, and the main street's getting better, but it's ignoring the most vulnerable members of the population. And there's a direct correlation between what's happening on the streets of Nashua and like the housing crisis in America, right? The housing crisis in New Hampshire. And I'm just going to give you guys some stats here, just because these are seared into my consciousness now. But like over the last 5 years, rent in New Hampshire has gone up 36%, right? In Nashua, it's gone up close to 50%. The medium 2-bedroom in Nashua it's like $2,100. I pay $2,250. It's insane, right? That's not much different than what I was paying in LA. And I was in LA, like I moved to LA before COVID, right? I was in a nice part of LA. There's less than 1% rental vacancy in New Hampshire currently, 0.6%. That's the lowest in the country. There are no rental protections, right? There's no rent freezing, none of the, what's the other term that they've politicized now? Not rent freezing, but rent stabilization and rent, all those things, right? Which are good things. In New York City, like there's a common misconception that they're going to try to make all the new buildings rent control, sorry. All the buildings rent controlled. No, there are rules when it comes to rent control, right? Like a building has to be a certain amount of years old. The tenants have to be in there for a certain amount of time. There are rules. Like you can't just rent control that, that's why the argument that like investors and builders of real estate won't do that in rent controlled areas. It's untrue because like even in California, you can't rent control a building that's 10 years or newer, right? It has to hit a certain point. So there's a lot of propaganda here. And then that attached with the state of the state house, 400 representatives, like a whole bunch of senators, nothing gets done. It's controlled by a whole bunch of free staters, whole bunch of Republicans. And in the towns, as much as the Democrats want to behave as they are progressive, when it comes to their property value, they will revert to the worst MAGA that you have ever fucking seen. Okay? When it comes to the property value, they will revert to the worst human being you have ever known on the other side. People who are generally beautiful people in all aspects of life. I love being from New Hampshire. I do. Even the quirkiest people from New Hampshire, I will always come back here, always be home because it's different. But we have gotten to the point where the homeowners in New Hampshire have some say in this too. We cannot just complain to the government while the homeowners are also complaining to the government, right? At a certain point, we have to make sense for the people in New Hampshire, and even from an angle of we want to keep New Hampshire residents in New Hampshire, right? I could go on about this forever about New Hampshire, but to focus back on Nashua, we put a lot of pressure on the aldermen in Nashua after this vote. I went on Facebook. I went on TikTok. I talked to everyone. The head alderman is my alderman. The head of the Nashua Dems is my alderman. I made as many career-related online threats as I could. Not physical safety ones, but like, I'm coming for your seat. I live in your ward. You have no idea. Like, I don't need to get that many people out to vote in a Nashua ward to take your seat. Like it's... So because of this, and because of, I'm going to give some credit to Paige Boschman here too, because she is a state rep in Nashua, from Nashua. This is her city, her home base too. And this is very important for her. She did a video on this too. We went on the attack here. And one of the aldermen that voted yes is reconsidering his vote, which is something that they can do in the alderman and in the state house. It's called reconsideration. Okay. So this is amazing news. Amazing news. And my call to action right now, to anyone, right? Go to the Nashua or the New Hampshire State House, the Nashua website. First of all, if you can be at the alderman meeting on Thursday, physically be there. We're expecting a lot of people. I am trying to organize as many people to go. My family members, I'm calling in favors just to pack the area. You can speak publicly if you'd like. For up to 3 minutes. I will be doing that. Paige Boschman will be doing that. Multiple members that I know that are going to be there are going to be doing that. We want to make clear, not just to the people in this room, but to the Democrats outside of this room, that we are retaking the narrative here from the ground level. It's happening in the state, it's happening in the country, and it's happening locally. It's happening everywhere. And for people that think that they can't make a difference here, I am proof that you fucking can. I don't have a million. I have 3,000 followers on TikTok. I talk a lot of shit on here. I'm mad a lot on here. I have found a way to redirect this into something I feel like is worthwhile. And let me tell you, the amount of hope that this will build for the future, because this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. There are 2 layers of this now. We have to get through the liberals and we have to get through the MAGA. but you got to start somewhere. Do not feel hopeless. Don't feel like it's out of sight. This is our chance to really stick it back to the Democrats and tell them that we are here. The progressives are here. We will fill that room. We will make it so you can't leave till 2 in the fucking morning because we're all talking and we are all saying the same thing. We will not criminalize homelessness. You are putting a band-aid on something that needs surgery. Every red flag in this country, every red flag in this state is going is like showing in your face, and your answer to this is, again, to use an alderman's phrase, a leaf blowing situation. You are just going to push this down the fucking road, literally. And I just think that it's so important for people not to lose hope. That's the last thing I want to say. That, like, I was one of those hopeless people. I was like, I had given up. I was the bottom of the bottom. I was shit posting on Twitter. I thought I was making a difference. I wasn't. This is more of a difference than I've ever made on the internet. I'm not taking credit for this. It was all the people of Nashville that got involved, but I feel some ownership here. I do. This is my home. This is my town. And I am going to fucking make my voice heard one way or another. They're going to know who I am. They're going to be afraid of me because I am going to be a threat to their power. From now on, I am going to nonstop be a threat to their power. And you guys all can be too.
Wow. I was like having to jot down a lot of notes because I had a lot of reactions. That was great. First of all, thank you for laying all of that out. As just to put a button on that in terms of what the meeting in Nashua, do you have the specific details on that just so we can have that
Yeah, the Board of
available
Aldermen,
for folks?
absolutely. They meet at the Nashua State House, basically, which is, you can go to, if you go to NashuaNewHampshire.gov, it gives the actual, I don't know what the address is. Let me see if I can, it's of City Hall, sorry. It's 229 Main Street. 229 Main Street, City Hall, Nashua, 7:30 p.m. on Thursday. I will be making more videos on this too. I will be talking more about this. This is going to be kind of my priority issue in the coming days because there's just so much to fucking worry about. But when you can worry about something real, like outside, like on your street, I feel like that is a good way to kind of center yourself in. Yeah, so 7:30. There's going to be public speaking, no more than 3 minutes per person. Everyone is being to push to speak. Like, don't feel, there's going to be a lot of people speaking. Some people speaking for the first time. Don't feel shy. And if you don't want to speak, that's totally fine. You are not expected to. You can just sit and listen. And it's a beautiful experience too, to like actually sit in an alderman meeting. You kind of see the bullshit too, right? Which is like very important. It's very important to see all the garbage going on.
That's a good reminder for us as we head into this year too. Ari and I have talked about this a lot, how like this year we're both going to be more physically present in a lot of these meetings and a lot of these spaces. That way we can encourage and activate people who are watching us online to do the same, because it's so important for us to be there in person. And to what you're saying, I friggin' love what you're saying, Arya, about the fact that, like, what do you have 3,000 followers on TikTok, but you are able to like really make change. And I have seen that this year time and time again. And that's why I just keep wanting to like talk about the NH Talk community and what they're doing, because it's not about any one person. It's about all of these individuals that are focusing on issues that matter to their specific communities. And there is so much power in like hyper local news focus on this type of app and being able to drill into what's happening, because algorithms like TikTok especially will send your videos to the people that live around you. I know I get recognized at the grocery store now all the fucking time. They will send your videos to the people that are in close proximity to you. And so even if you don't have a lot of power, even if you don't have a lot of followers, you have so much power to actually motivate people to show up at these things, motivate people to call their reps, motivate people to engage on a deeper level. Because I was like Arya as well in the past, where I was like shit posting on social media. I was posting on on Twitter. I was posting on in resharing Instagram infographics and thinking that that was like doing something. And that is a first step. That is not to talk shit about anybody. I don't want to make anyone feel attacked right now, because that's also not what I'm saying. That is if you're doing that, it means like you have the hunger and can do more of it. So you don't have to post, you can comment, you can tune into stuff like this, but using these tools to actually enact change on a local level is so important because, as Arya said, if you're tuning in here for the first time and you're not super familiar with New Hampshire politics, it is so weird here. Like he said, we have over 400 state reps. We have an incredible amount of representation from the Free State Movement, which is a libertarian movement that is specifically targeting New Hampshire to try and take over our government and dismantle all of our programs. So we are fighting hard and we can fight, right? So let's all use what we have at our disposal to support candidates, to support local stuff. Like, I think this is huge. And then, yeah, in terms of the Nashua piece specifically, I think this isn't just happening in Nashua. This is happening. I think there's a lot of folks in the in the comments. People were mentioning it's happening in Concord as well. There's a lot of cities in New Hampshire that are talking about this and taking a very inhumane approach to, let's just get these people out of here so we don't have to look. We don't have to. I don't want to have to think about it. It's incredibly dehumanizing. It's incredibly offensive. Is upsetting to think. It's like, this is not how we treat people. And as we are heading further and further into the Trump administration's the second Trump administration, and as we see the impacts of the big beautiful bill start to take hold over the next year or two, this problem is going to get a lot worse. The homelessness problem is going to get a lot worse, because, you know, I think we're talking about the ACA stuff right now because, and the healthcare stuff, because it's very top of mind with this vote. But this is going to be a continue. We're going to see the homelessness problem in our people experiencing losing their homes is going to become more and more common for people who live here. And we have to have a better plan for how we support people, because this is not how we do it. And so, Arya, I'm grateful that you're taking this on as a cause, that you're going to speak out towards. And I think the fact that you were able to actually turn the tide on this, I do think it says a lot for how much progress you can make simply by causing a stink in spaces where people aren't used to that. I think a lot of these towns and cities aren't used to getting a whole lot of pushback. They're used to people not paying a whole lot of attention. They're used to the same 5 people showing up at the meetings with their same complaints. But when a bunch of young people, or it doesn't have to be young people, a bunch of people who know how to use the internet start coming in and organizing in a different way, it can make a real change. So I appreciate what you're doing, and I like your message. You're bringing a lot more hopeful energy today, Arya. I'm liking it. You're bringing this. You've got this optimism in you that
that you're not used to. Don't get used to it, okay? None of you get used to this. This is not gonna last forever. No.
Am I rubbing off on you, Arya?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think we're rubbing off on each other a little bit, which is nice. You know, like we needed a little bit.
I'm getting a little angrier too.
Yeah, like like we need like kind of like a yin yang kind of thing, but. I completely, I mean, like the momentum here, the momentum and juice and the motivation I get to post outside of the actual North Star of wanting to make change is the amount of support that I get from this community. It is. You guys, every comment, every like, every interaction, every message you guys send me, you guys know I respond to almost every message, like especially if you're like a follower of mine and you know, I see that we've interacted. Like, I don't ignore anyone. I would like to follow every New Hampshire account. So if I'm not following you and you're from New Hampshire, like definitely message me and I will follow you. Like I'm not like a follower prude, you know, like shit don't mean anything to me. But with the with this stuff, again, it is just about empowerment and about contrast, sending a message. And again, the optimism part of it, I just feel like we are going to talk a lot about the shittiness of what's going on with the delegation here, but there is another side to this coin, and that is it provides a tremendous opportunity for progressives, not just around the country, but especially in the states where these senators have gone rogue. The eyes of the country are on New Hampshire right now. It's no it's no like conspiracy or controversy, unknown fact that it was Jeanne, Shaheen and Maggie Hassan that were spearheading that were whipping up these votes. That was the quote. Jeanne Shaheen is the one whipping up these votes, not even Dick Durbin, who is the whip, right? Like, which is like insane, right? It's Jeanne Shaheen that's doing the whipping. I wonder why they put her name out there. You know, maybe it's because she's retiring. I don't know. And, you know, like the thing that you notice about all of them have either primaries in 2028 or are retiring, right? That's the one thing that you love to see there. So, you know, not exactly trying to hide that fact. So I think that I am trying to lean into the positive part, and it's something that is just an active thing that I've just to give some Arya lore. I was making myself sick, man, being mad all the time. And even now, it's like an addiction, you know, like I'm not above that. Like the addiction is it's easy to get mad. These algorithms are trained to make you mad, literally are trained to make you mad. That's the whole interaction. They have turned interactions into a science. If they piss you off, you interact. That's what they figure out. So now they just spend their time figuring out algorithms to put you in fight or flight from the beginning of the day, right? So, you know, I would just get on the toilet at 9 a.m. in the morning and be like, fuck, I hate my life, right? Right, like right, just like that, like just to start the day. And seriously, I'm being realistic. You all know, none of you are above that, right? You all do that. Don't even. But the idea is that like there is a flip side to everything. My dad was a big part of this for me too, where I was like always kind of I was always an overthinker and always quote unquote catastrophizing my future, right? And what if something bad happens? What if something bad happens? What if something bad happens? It becomes a training to be like, what if something good happens? What if something good happens? What if something good happens? You know, it's like it's so hard. It's so easy for me to say. I am not great at it still, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I feel like there is something to be said about that mix. You will make yourself sick being angry and pissed all the time with no outlet, with no North Star, with no support, with no therapy. All of this is important. You are meant to survive this. The system is supposed to make you weaker. Cutting SNAP, cutting Medicaid, that's not by design. It's to make you tired. It's to make you more sick. It's to make you more hungry. When you are all of those things, you're less likely to fight. You're less likely to go outside and organize. These things are by design. So rest is resistance too. Let me say that to you guys. Rest is resistance. Bow out when you have to. The rest of us will step in. You are no good to the movement sick. You are no good to the movement at 50% or 30%. Let other people step in because they're going to need to take a break too. And that's how a coalition works. We're here for each other. We're here to support each other. And I constantly tell people if we're having a bad week and you need to get the fuck out, get the fuck out. You ain't missing out. You're not letting the movement down. We're not keeping track of the people who have 100% attendance here. You know what I'm saying? Like every bit helps. You get a gold star for just thinking about it, right? So don't worry about any of that. We got your back. And again, be at 100% and fix the pothole outside. I'm not going to go on that rant, but go fix the pothole outside. You'll be good.
I love that. Anything else, Arya, on the Nashua stuff? I see you pulled something up on screen share. I just want to make sure
I did have someone. I did have someone in chat that I did in TikTok. Again, TikTok. We are also on Twitch. Twitch is a much better. I mean, unless we're doing interviews, Twitch is just much better because we can show graphics and videos and stuff if we need to. But on Twitch, someone in the TikTok chat had asked if we can't be physically at the alderman meeting, what can we do? There are a few things you can do. First of all, there will be a live stream. The website is kind of a weird website, but it's Nashua, New Hampshire. If you just type in Board of Aldermen, Nashua, New Hampshire, it will take you to their website. On that website, not only can you go, and this is the website right here. So just to show you guys. So if you come up here, you have a few different options up here, right? The Board of Aldermen, it's going to show you different ways to contact them. You can email them. You can call them. Leave a voicemail, much like you would call your representatives or email your representatives. You can do that. There used to be a place in Alderman where you could do a online you want to say something online instead of being there in person. Someone will read the online message for you. I don't know if they're still doing that in Nashville. They do it at the State House in Concord, but I'm going to be making more videos on this. So if there is another way for you to get involved, you can count on me making a video on it. But just to give you all the information here, their address is here. The email is here. Phone number is here. Phone number is 603-589-3030. And yeah, it's 7:30 p.m. You can get there late. They're not going to lock the doors on you. You know, chances are we're expecting so many people, the room is probably going to be overflow, and they're probably going to have another room. If it's anything like the last time they had public speaking on this, they're going to have another room. So definitely, if you can't come, there's going to be a live stream on this website as well that I'm showing on Twitch. There is a link to a video stream of it too, so you can watch. If you don't want, if you can't be there and you want to see what's going on in there and how it actually works, they do have a live stream of the alderman meetings every time they meet.
Awesome. Thank you for going into that. I'm going to switch gears, and we wanted to do a little, so we're still working out format again, guys. The and then they're asking you to put the info in the Discord too on TikTok. So
absolutely,
you're watching on TikTok. We're streaming on Twitch as well. We're going to show some videos and stuff like that. I'm going to share my screen. This Friday, there's two very important New Hampshire politics. The first is the Eleanor Roosevelt dinner hosted by the New Hampshire Democratic Party, with tickets that cost like $2,000 a night, $2,000 a fucking head. So you can pay to be seated next to the ladies of the hour. So if you would like to talk to the stars of the show and pay $2,000 to sit at a table with them, you can do that. Or our friends with the New Hampshire Communist Party are hosting a people's potluck. They started organizing this in response to Snap. I'm going to actually just share my screen and play it. If you guys can let me know in the comments if you're not hearing audio or anything like that. I'm going to start playing now.
I can't hear it.
Dang it. Dang it.
Do you want me to play it?
All right. Well, if Arya doesn't hear it, yeah. See if you can do it. I put it in our actually, no, I didn't put it in our chat.
It's all right. That's Rat, right?
I'll send it over to you. Yeah, it's Rat.
This is
it's on their TikTok too.
Okay, sweet. All right, I'll pull that up real quick. TikTok, I hate you. All right, there they are, and there is their TikTok.
Hey y'all, my name is.
So somebody in the while you're pulling that up, someone in the comments is asking if anyone's planning a presence at the dinner on Friday night. I think right now, I think a lot of folks are planning on going to this People's Potluck event happening in Manchester, as there is a great need there. Not only are they doing this dinner, they're also turning it into an ongoing food pantry. So I'll let you go ahead and share the video, Arya.
Yeah.
You're ready.
Y'all see it on Twitch? All right, let's see this.
And I am the chairperson of the New Hampshire Communist Party USA, and I'm here to talk about our People's Potluck that is coming up this Friday at 5 p.m. at the Manchester UU Church, 669 Union Street, Manchester, New Hampshire. And we're going to be serving warm food and have a food pantry available for any folks facing food insecurity for any reason. We started planning this event in response to SNAP benefits going away, and with all this flip-flop going on back and forth, we are just showing up and showing out for those who are facing food insecurity for any reason. Come by, no questions asked. If you need something, take something. We will be there, basically all afternoon and into the night, serving food and making sure that people are fed and have what they need. But also, if you can bring anything, bring it. If you need to take shit, take it. Because we are just showing out as much as we can. And thank you so much to not only the community members that have been reaching out from all across the state asking how they can help and what they can bring, but specifically to New Hampshire Food Not Bombs and to our brand new YCL chapter for all the amazing work that they're going to be doing. And also thank you to Queer Elective, who will be also setting up a table at the event. Just thank you to everyone who has been showing up and showing out, and for all the amazing work that y'all are doing for this event. I cannot wait to see everyone there, and we're going to have a good time, and we're going to feed our community that needs it right now.
Also, follow Rat if you ever want good fitness inspo, because they're out there getting fucking ready for whatever comes next. I'm like, I got to get my ass to the gym. Good for them.
Absolutely. And I just really quick, someone from Nashua just popped in really quick and said, hey, I'm from Nashua. Are there any updates on those scumbags voting to reopen. Oh, you're talking about they're still sorry, I thought you were
These
talking about
scumbags.
Nashua. Yeah, it's all right.
We'll get there.
We will.
Get there.
We're gonna get there, absolutely. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the Nashua vote that we just talked about. Yeah, so yeah, go ahead, Marissa, on the potluck.
No, that's it. I was just going to say, you know, one of the things that I think folks can mobilize around if people, I think there's oftentimes people that are very oriented around mutual aid, and there's folks that are very oriented around politics. If you're in more of the mutual aid space, like obviously there's so much need right now in terms of getting food out to people. So if you can help get the word out for this event in Manchester for people to show up, for people who need it to show up, if you have any ideas of how to distribute this, there's no like strings attached. You can just come. It's a community event. There's going to be a lot of people there. I think John Kuiper is going to this event. So that is happening in Manchester. And yeah, I think they'd love to see you there, have some support. Rat is an active member of our New Hampshire Talk community as well. So make sure you're following them because they do a lot of great mutual aid work as well. They're a great resource. And there is a flyer. I'll put out Rat put this out on their account. Do you have their username pulled up on TikTok or let's see?
I do. It is.
Yeah, it's pulled up on the screen share, but yeah, it's They Devil with a 1 as
instead
the
of
I.
the I, yeah.
But I'll repost it as well so people can find more information. And yeah, so if you guys can take a look, we'll drop that in the Discord as well. Hey, if anyone who's here on a daily basis wants to help volunteer to drop the stuff we talk about in the Discord, I would love that. That would be really helpful because we cannot do that while we are streaming as well, because our brains are literally at least my ADHD brain is overloaded already during this stream. So I can't do it as we go, but that would be super helpful. So all right. So yeah, we just wanted to give you guys a quick update on that. Anything else, Arya, in terms of attendance on that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm going to be there too on Friday. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there early. I'm going to help Rat and everyone set up. And actually, Paige Boschman will be there too. Paige Boschman, who is running for Congress, will also be there. We are, again, part of my, I've talked to you guys a little bit about what my terrorist sister's dog is by my feet right now, nipping at my toes. Am I on TikTok? Sorry, let me get back on TikTok here just in case. Yeah, so we're gonna be there. We believe that this is very important. We believe that the contrast here is very important. You have a room full of big wigs, rubbing elbows. Some of the people who are, again, we are saying are our ideological enemies now. Again, Maggie Hassan will be there. Shaheen will be there. Multiple, Cory Booker will be there making a speech. Hopefully it won't be 25 hours and going to vote for Israel right after.
I don't think I could listen to a speech from Cory Booker without losing my fucking mind right now. And if you can, what's going on with you?
It's so performative now. Like it just he bleeds performance now. Like I cannot trust a word that he says. I mean, most of these, even like, again, just to touch on the untrustworthiness. I mean, we thought these 8 senators were rogue, but we're hearing now that Chuck Schumer was like actually like throwing them out to the wolves, like as part of the group to, they weren't that vulnerable at the time. So I just think this is an amazing contrast, not just between the candidates, but because this is what is important right now. That fucking dinner isn't important. Are you kidding me? Like talk about not having any, like, not reading the room, literally, right? So not only do I plan on being there, but I will be live streaming. Also, I will be live streaming on Twitch here. I will be live streaming on TikTok. I will be speaking to Rat. I'll be interviewing her. I'm going to talk to John Kuiper for governor while I'm there. I'm going to talk to Paige Boschman. And if any of you want to come and talk to me, come and talk to me. Let's have a chat. Let's have a new NH Talk chat. And because this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to, the rising tide lifts all ships type of thing. And, I know sometimes like people have come up to me and like are like pretty shy when they come up to me and then we talk a little bit and they see that I'm just like, I'm a human being that just got into this not too long ago either. And that it becomes a lot more achievable. It becomes a lot more attainable. And yeah, look at these fucking prices, dude. Like if you talk about like truly like a Hunger Games type of contrast here, right? We're talking, we see a lot of Hunger Games memes out there. But when you talk about like a a legit Hunger Games contrast where you have these $10,000 tables for the schmoozers, and then you have people that are literally having their snap cut by the government and that is using state violence against them. So again, I want to just give you guys some insight here, which I don't know if the NHDP is going to be like upset with me sharing this, but fuck them, right? They're already giving away seats, man. Like, people are not coming to this. Like, I feel like they are expecting, they know that like some big names from out of state are showing up, and like Cory Booker is like the headliner here apparently, and they can't afford to have an empty room when Cory Booker is making his speech and all these people are making their speech. So as time goes on, I imagine more and more tickets are going to be given out, and by then hopefully I can convince some of the other progressive candidates as a constituent, not as a campaign thing, because I got to be transparent here. Obviously, some of my, my candidates in a completely different race, but like talking to other progressives about this connective tissue and what is more important, what visual is going to look better for you. Do you want to be in that room? And if there are some that are planning on going to the Roosevelt dinner, I would tell them free advice, free like campaign advice. Don't fucking do it. That you don't like refund your ticket, put that money towards a food pantry. You don't want to go to this event, don't go to another event, don't go to an event at all, just donate your money and the ticket money you would have spent for this. It's like $150 per representative, like state politician, if they want to come to this. That's what we're going to do. We're going to donate the tickets that we were going to spend. We're going to donate to food pantries or even to this potluck if we can. I got to talk to Rad about if she's taking actual, like, if they're taking money donations. I don't know if you know any more about that, Marissa.
Yeah, they'll take I donated last night. They'll if you want to reach out to them directly on TikTok, that's probably the best way to do it.
And that's where it's going. Yeah, that's where our tickets are going instead of this fucking schmooze fest. Especially now, again, if we were still in the middle of the shutdown and the New Hampshire Democrats didn't fold yet, you probably have a little bit more excitement of the progressives to show up to this, maybe. Because like it smells like maybe the Democrats are coming around. So you don't want to split yourself from an insurgent Democratic Party. If the Democratic Party is going to start behaving insurgently like we want them to, we don't want to really, ultimately winning is not as important as pushing the party to the left for me, right? I want to push the party to the left. That's a win. And if that's what it's doing, that's a win. I'm cool with that. But they're not. They're having this dinner right after our representatives did that. It's like such a slap in the face. They don't think we fucking care. They really don't. And it's like so frustrating. It's so frustrating. But you know what? We'll make them pay for it. We're going to make them pay for it. And it's going to start with this event.
They think we're going to forget. You know what I mean? I think with all this stuff, they think we're going to forget, but we don't forget. Like this, especially now, especially when we're talking about the level of what is being done. This is not the politics of, this is not incremental change. This is massive, hugely problematic things that are going to impact a lot of people's lives in a really scary way. The last thing I wanted to say on this, and then we can move on, Arya, I bumped something in our thread down to the bottom that if you can screen share it after this.
Absolutely.
The last thing I wanted to share on this, I wanted to just spend a minute on this specifically because something that I was not previously familiar with as somebody who's kind of coming to this relatively new to politics is when you look at the financial back end of what happens on these campaigns. So basically, like what's happening here is they are trying to get these grassroots candidates. So somebody like, let's talk about John Kuiper, for example. John Kuiper is on here every day trying to fundraise from working class people so he can keep his working class campaign going and he can keep this anti-establishment campaign going because it's extremely expensive to do that. And then the New Hampshire Democratic Party wants him to spend $5,000 to get an ad, to get a seat next to Shaheen. And like, this is the kind, like how is John Kuiper in good conscience, there we go. How is John Kuiper in good conscience supposed to spend $5,000 that he knows people like us scrounged up to give him our $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever we could to indicate that we're supportive of his campaign. He then is supposed to take that $5,000 a month and give it to Ray fucking Buckley. Are you kidding me? Like, to go pay for Cory Booker's speaking fee. You want him to take $5,000 from the constituents of New Hampshire to spend on this bullshit to celebrate each other? Fuck that. Are you kidding me? People are starving. People are losing their health care. People are scared shitless because their fucking health care is about to go away. And you want these candidates spending $5,000 so they can rub elbows to the most important bigwigs in New Hampshire? Because again, as we know, because we keep talking about this is all controlled by the New Hampshire Democratic Party and Jeanne Shaheen and her fucking family and this little establishment gang that votes together, that moves together, is truly incredible. And it's really honestly gross to see. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think you're right. It's total Hunger Games situation. I think if you've bought a ticket, it would be a great idea to get a refund. I think it's just in poor taste as a PR perspective. It's poor taste to be doing this. It shows you do not care. Jeanne Shaheen's doing all these. She's doing Fox and Fox News. She's doing all these interviews, doubling down. There's such a disconnect happening between like what they're talking about versus what's like real. So that's where we're at heading into this weekend. So yeah, take a look at going to the people's potluck instead of this event, and that's all
No,
here, so.
that's great. And yeah, absolutely. Worth your time, worth your while. And again, if you if you can't be there, I'm actually looking for ways. Marissa and I have talked about how I could possibly do this, but I might set up a fundraiser while I'm there through Twitch and TikTok. The best way that I can to like get them the most amount of money without, I don't know how fees. I've never set up a fundraiser, so I'm like actually excited to kind of like look into how this works and who I can do it with legitimately and have people who want to jump into TikTok and jump into Twitch to donate that way, and it will go like directly to them. And I think it'll be a great opportunity for people to look into what progressive communities are doing. And again, this is very like, I don't care who's there physically at this event on Friday, right? Like there's a moment in time where it becomes more than politics, more than campaigning, more than trying to sell yourself, more than cameras, right? Like we want to help our neighbors because we believe that's the right thing to do. There's nothing performative here. We're not, gonna pretend like we're a charity and not be charitable. Like these are every like piece of sweat, every like effort that you put into this, it does gangbusters, right? And like you motivate and empower other people to show up. We have power in numbers. It almost becomes like FOMO at a certain point. If you get enough people coming out, people just don't want to be left behind at that point, right? And like the momentum, you can't stop the momentum. And right now, I'm telling you guys, like as someone who has been on the internet his entire life, I have never sensed, even with all the censorship going on the internet, with all like they can't stop it. They can't stop kind of the networking of progressives and leftists right now. And like the information that's coming in from overseas and like, the things that we're seeing, they can't stop us from learning about what's going on in the world anymore. Even with the amount of censorship there is, we are in a very important time. We need to take this lightning, keep it in the bottle, and then ride this bitch, right? Like ride this bottle all the way into oblivion, right? And we got this together. We have to do this together. And again, we are the connective tissue between each other. So I'm so appreciative of Rat and everyone else that's doing this. I can't wait to come and help and be a part of this and talk to some members of the community who are struggling, who have their stories, their own stories. I want to hear it from them, right? I want to hear what's going on. What can we do as community members to make your life better?
I love that. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit. I wanted to share a story that somebody reached out to me today. Or yes, I don't know. The days are all blurring together. But Arya, if you wouldn't mind pulling up
Oh yeah, absolutely.
that most
That
recent
link.
thing that I
I got you.
bumped on the. I'm just gonna keep bumping stuff in the thread.
Hell yeah.
Since I don't know why my
I'll be your
audio's
maid.
not working, but thank you. I appreciate that. My executive assistant, Arya, I take you seriously.
I volunteer.
So oh my god, I bet I better not be getting sick. So I heard from somebody today, and I'm going to share the screen and let them sort of share their story here. But if you're watching us on TikTok, this is one more plug to switch over to Twitch because we're watching over there. And this is where we're going to do screen shares and stuff. And we're going to be watching some stuff and reacting to it today. So if you want, go to Twitch. You can look up either of our usernames and watch our streams and then participate. There's like a shared chat over there. So Arya, if you want to go ahead and play this video.
Let's play. Where is this?
But my most recent diagnosis is a progressive autoimmune disorder, which means moving forward, access to affordable health insurance is going to be incredibly important for me to maintain this disease and also maintain a sense of independence, being able to perform in my work day to day. If these tax credits go away, I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue to afford health insurance. I am a mental health clinician, and I speak to people week after week that have the same concerns. They're terrified that they're going to lose their coverage, or they're going to lose their access to coverage, or if they're able to afford health insurance, if we lose the ACA tax credit, then are they going to be able to afford treatments? It's been working. It's been working for millions of people. And to see that tax credit go away could mean life or death for many. Could mean life or death for me. I'm here to encourage our representatives to think about the constituents that will not be able to afford health care if the ACA tax credits are repealed. It's a really scary thought. Even if you don't have an ACA.
So that's Amanda. She reached out to me on Instagram today. I asked her to record a video recapping. She was in the stream earlier. I'm not sure if she's still here on TikTok, but I asked her to record a video recapping her story so she can tell it herself, but I just wanted to flag it here as well because it just kind of is a perfect example of politics being like pretty dehumanizing and gross. So Amanda, in the video, if you weren't able to watch on TikTok, Amanda has her own serious diagnosis that she just received around multiple sclerosis that she's been trying to get for years. And so to get that diagnosis while she's also relying on these ACA subsidies is like a very scary situation to be in. She's also a mental health clinician. And so this was the video we just watched was on Jeanne Shaheen's Facebook page. So apparently about a week ago, Amanda had reached out, as she had been doing every single day, as we all are doing pretty much, calling and saying, please hold the line on ACA. Please hold the line on healthcare, calling every single day. One of those days, she heard back from Jeanne Shaheen's team. They said, hey, we would love to hear more about your story. Would you be willing to record a video so we can use it on social media? So she recorded a video talking about her like deeply traumatic situation that she is currently living with and her own exposing her own healthcare journey and the struggles that she's facing. And they posted it on their page, used it for political fodder, whatever, posted it on Jeanne Shaheen's Facebook. And then several days later, Jeanne Shaheen caves, right? After literally they asked this woman to do the emotional labor of putting herself out there. She's like, I can't even look at the post because the comments are horrific, because of course they are. Asking somebody to put themselves out there in that way on social media is, and then to actually do the thing that they are begging you not to do is like so fucking dehumanizing. And I'm just like so angry on her behalf that they basically used her as a commercial. And then they were like, actually, never mind. Fuck off. The airlines are more important. Sorry, I don't really give a fuck. We've got to take care of the airlines. The fact that they made that switch in less than a week and just like discarded her and her experience. And then she reached back out to them, obviously, and was just kind of like, hey, what's going on? And they gave her the same bullshit response, the same form answer that they send everybody else after they're asking her to be their poster child on fucking Facebook. It's like so disgusting to me to not even have the dignity to. Also, for the record, she sent them that video and they never got back to her. The campaign, Jeanne Shaheen, not the campaign, Jeanne Shaheen's team never got back to her. They didn't say, oh, we're going to use it, it's going to go up. She only knew because when they flipped, she was like, what the fuck? I'm curious if they ever actually ended up using the video. They did. It had hundreds of horrific comments on it. And it doesn't matter. And it just like doesn't matter. And so I asked Amanda to share a little bit more. I just had a quick chat with her earlier today, and I asked her to share a little bit more in a video that we can play on Friday as we get into it a little bit more. But I just wanted to share it because it was that I felt was like so indicative of how like the way that our federal delegation in DC is treating us as just like political like pawns, and just they sincerely don't give a fuck that people are calling them and begging them to respect our human dignity and give us the healthcare that we need to survive. And then they'll exploit that emotion when it benefits them. They'll exploit that emotion and that real life trauma to generate social media engagement when it works for them. But then as soon as it flips, they're like, I don't give a fuck about you anymore. I'm not going to pick up your calls. I'm going to send you the same form email I send everybody. And the fact that Jeanne Shaheen is now doing the media tour, she's going on all of these shows and saying, I keep hearing from my constituents that they wanted us to open the government. That's what I kept hearing. It was the most important thing. When what do we have to do? I'm sorry. Like, what do we have to do to like beg to get our basic fucking needs met? How else are we supposed to get our needs met? We're not talking about like, we're not asking for much. We're asking for like giving people what they need to survive. And it is so disrespectful of these people like Jeanne Shaheen to go on fucking Fox News and like talk about how all she's hearing from her constituents is that they wanted her to reopen the government. And so I'm sorry, that one really set me off this morning. And I apologize to Amanda if I'm summarizing any of this incorrectly. We had a really brief conversation this morning, and I'm going to get more information from her as well. But like, these people don't give a fuck about us. I'm so sorry. But like, we need to stop treating them as moderate Democrats, because these are fucking extremist people who do not care. They do. People call me an extremist. I'm not an extremist. I just want people to have health care. You're an extremist for exploiting your constituents for social media content and then not picking up their phone when you know that they're going to be suffering as a result of your decisions. It's just disgusting to me.
I want to explain to people, when progressives and leftists have been telling you for the past 8 to 10 years, this awakening that they've been having, telling you that they are sick of having the Democratic Party fundraise off marginalized people's shoulders and their backs. And then as soon as those people are expecting them to be the leaders that they trusted, these people turn around and act like Republicans, right? I mean, that's pretty much the story you just gave. They turn around and act like Republicans. I want to give you guys a little just visual. In Israel, when they're about to drop bombs on Gaza, when Republicans show up there, they sign it, right? Some Democrats do that too, right? Like there's like there is this idea, again, like when there are people here, Republicans who, or even Democrats, who are like fundraising off LGBTQ, right? And then when it comes to trans bills and LGBTQ bills, you're not hearing any like counter messaging. When they were attacking immigrants during the election, they were saying your dogs and cats are, your neighbors are eating your dogs and cats. I can tell you 20, 30 different times I heard a Republican say that. I can't tell you one time I heard a Democrat step up and be like, are you fucking crazy? That's the fucking craziest thing I've ever... Dogs and cats? Are you guys out of your goddamn mind? When have you ever heard that? That's the common response to that. Like, that's my 13-year-old cousin would make that response to that. Like, that literal, verbatim. The fuck you talking about? Like, they're eating dogs and cats. What are you talking about? And if you remember, during the election, probably the best 3 weeks that they had in that election was when they took Santa Claus, Tim Walz, pounced them around the country, had him call a bunch of Republicans weird on national TV. That was the best the Democrats did during that election, when Tim Walz was running around the country calling Republicans weird. And then for some reason, they backed off of that. Do you remember that? Like, they backed off of that messaging like idiots. You know, like, and he was a secret weapon there. He was like, for me, when she picked Tim Walz as her VP behind like the Josh Shapiros of the world, which was the common Democratic establishment move. They would have looked at Pennsylvania and been like, that's a swing state. We need that guy. Like right now, the kind of Republican moderate Democrat. They got Tim Walz. I had a moment of faith that like, okay, they're pivoting here to this, like, he's like one of us, man. Jolly guy, loved by his family, like loved by his constituents, like just speaking truth and loving it. He had a bit of Zoran Mamdani in him. Did you ever see him not smiling, popping around the stage? They were like, Republicans tried to call him weird and it like backfired on them. They're like, this guy's the coolest. He's like all of our dads. You know, he had his daughter was named Hope. Like, what a crazy story. Like this, and they backed off of that. Why? That's another one of those kind of decisions you need to go and look at and wonder to yourself, does this look like a party that is strategizing wins? Or does it look like a party that is like walking right up to the finish line and like falling over, injured, right? Like throwing the match. Like you are up in the 9th inning and you throw the white flag. Right? Like that was what the 40 days, I felt like we were there, that war of attrition. Again, this was not to stick it to Republicans. This was for something. We had a goal and you were winning the messaging battle. You were winning the public battle. You were winning. And then you behaved as if you were going to get destroyed. You gave Trump another win. Why should we ever trust you on anything ever again? Now, okay, I'm telling you guys, and this is just my position. You might not believe me. You might not agree with me. That's okay. Now I am going to stand here, even when people are yelling at me about this, and tell them, you don't offer me enough anymore. You don't. You have lost accountability. You have lost the trust. You did this when your like approval rating was already in like the 20s and 30s. You did this at the bottom. Like, to me, now, if there's anyone within my party or anyone within my ideological sphere that is like, when it comes down to a general, are you going to vote for the blue, no matter who, against the fascist president? I'm going to tell them to go fuck themselves. Not like that, but like, I'm that angry. I have to control that coming out, because how many times have I fucked myself here? How many times do I have to someone's going to clip that to shit now. That's fine. How many times?
It's going to be me.
It's mutually assured. How many times are we going to fall in line? For what? And again, to go back to Amanda, there are multiple marginalized communities in this country that coalesce around the Democratic Party. They coalesce around them because we've believed that they would actually come through. And I don't know how many times this abusive partner in a relationship has to beat us before we leave. Like, we have to leave now. Like, we have to go find like a better,
or we take over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's capturing the party, right? Capturing the momentum. I went to Dartmouth College not too long ago. I can't tell you how many Gen Z kids have no hope at all. Like, Gen Z, man, you guys are the future, man. Like, and I can tell you as a millennial, we got absolutely clobbered by the boomers, right? And there is this lack of hope that is permeable, and it gets pushed by the lack of services and the cutting to the services. But again, I want to make clear to all, again, that all the times that I have had to think about everyone else in the party, I have to start thinking about like my interests now, which are not like, I'm not trying to be a millionaire here. I'm just trying to survive. I'm like trying not to hit the streets here, you know, like, and I need my other marginalized communities, which I take a lot of flack for when I attack liberals historically, that if I vote, my conscience against the genocide, that automatically makes me someone that hates other marginalized people in America. That's the narrative that the Democratic Party uses as a cudgel on me. That, like, if I care so much about people overseas, why don't I go over there, right? Well, I don't want to get bombed by my own tax dollars, first of all. Second of all, it's, if I care, I do care about, when I'm making noise about there, I am caring about here. It's not like a random. That is who we are. That's who we're becoming. The imperial boomerang is real. They're already using the shit that they used on Palestinians. They're using it on us. Like the toys that they use for surveillance, the ones that ICE is using to crack your phone, that's Israeli tech, man. That's not like magical tech from America. That is stuff that we have developed with the Israelis. We've used in real time. And even New York City has its own department in Israel. They send counter-terrorist troops there to train with the IDF. So there is like this, again, I think it comes back down to moral clarity, right? That's what I'm moral clarity and contrast. Where's the contrast between candidates? And the moral clarity that exists has to be said with force now, with purpose. That is not going to back down to silly arguments, because we know what's right? We believe in progress ultimately.
No, it's so true. All right, I'm gonna move on. Can you pull up? I sent you another video from Pat. This is from our own Pat Lynch. We had a lot of NH talk. Oh my God, your background. Did you just switch it to the grandma? I like
Yeah,
it. That's the vibe I'm bringing to the party.
Talking about, like, hell yeah.
That's also the vibe that Jeanne Shaheen is bringing to us. Anyway, so NH talk has been like on fire this week. People have been making a lot of content about what's happening. And I love to see it. First of all, we're all creators, baby. You don't have to make something that looks good or polished. You can just make something where you're talking to the camera. That's all this is, guys. This isn't brain surgery. So,
is this the one? Is this the right one? Sorry, did I click on the wrong one? Okay, hold on one sec.
Yeah, it's at the bottom of the chat.
Oh, my bad.
So a lot of great videos about what's happening. People in the comments were talking about the connection between the airlines and the decision to reopen the government being made when it was made, which is what inspired my beautiful backdrop. If you're on TikTok, you can see my artistic decisions that I made this morning before we went live. But so let's hear Pat break it down this morning.
I love seeing Pat's pretty face so early in the day. Let's go.
I know. Pat's making some great content lately.
Yeah, everyone, make sure you follow Pat. Like I learned a lot from Pat the past few days. Actually, the things that my mind is everywhere, and Pat is like such a great follow.
And so, but before you hit play on that too, I'm just going to do one more plug. If you're on TikTok, that we're watching on Twitch, you can look up either my username or Arya's username, and you'll be able to see all of our screen shares. And we're just going to share short videos, but if you want the context, that's what we're doing. And I am laughing at Bridget calling you out that it is 1:30 in the morning, Arya. It is not the morning. It is. Did you just 1:30 in the afternoon? It is.
Did you guys just meet me? Did you guys just meet me?
Yeah.
What the hell? Yeah, this is morning time.
He just talked about doing his morning scroll at 9 a.m.
This is dawn.
I'm
just kidding. All right, we ready for this video?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. I made a long meandering video yesterday, but I kind of buried the lead. A lot of other people.
Can you do like 1.5x too?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how to do it. How do you do it on PC? I've never done. Oh, never mind. I'm so good. All right.
See,
both Jeanne Shaheen and Maggie Hassan, who are on that short list of turncoats who are going to vote to reopen the government without any ACA tax credit funding put back in. A lot of people are asking why. All of a sudden, after 40 plus days, they're going to do that. A lot of people are suggesting it's because of this Airlines for America article that came out last week saying these are going to be our losses. Who's the CEO of Airlines for America? Chris Sununu, former long-term governor of New Hampshire. Do with that information what you will. The other video is about 10 minutes long. Watch it, don't watch it, whatever. Other people are going to make a lot more concise videos about this. I've been reposting some of them, all the ones that I can find. But today, there's a lot of other people making this coincidental connection. So that's just another fun little piece of incestuous information. It's all about the money. And just on a bigger picture, the airline lobby is a massive lobby. As we know, Thanksgiving is coming up. Therefore, Black Friday, therefore, the largest travel day of the year, right? Money flows when people are traveling. Gas stations, stores, people are buying crap to give to family members that they might not see on Christmas, and people are getting ready for Black Friday and all this other bullshit. So, on that level, too, minus all of the incestuous New Hampshire connections here or the airline lobby connections, it's really just about the money. It's about the economy, right? But yeah, Chris Sununu is the CEO of Airlines for America. You know, the guy who's notoriously worked in the airline industry his entire career. Also, just to post
Oh wait,
script
there's
for
more.
some more Sununu slander. His brother ran for Senate in the early 2000s and lost, and he was governor. And why is all this relevant? Because his dad was governor in the 80s before being pulled into the HW administration. So it's all just a big nepo baby, and they own like a ski resort. I forget which one. I don't really care. I don't go skiing. It's all just nepo baby bullshit. And yeah, his brother's running again for Senate. So for Jeanne seat on the
I
Republicans.
love that.
So that's fun. I look forward to him losing again.
He's like, Pat's just like, you know what? He's just like fucking had it. You know, he's just like, fuck. He's like, watch it, don't watch it. Like, fuck off, whatever. You know, like.
All right, take the beeping as yeah. Can you hit
There you
pause?
go. Yeah, sorry. There you go.
No, so that yeah, that's the Chris Sununu thing was interesting. I did not know that he was the CEO. The connection is interesting, and I think the comparison. I think we all need to be making that comparison for folks more when we are talking to New Hampshire normies who don't follow politics. I think people are starting to wake up to and realize the Sununu dynasty on the right. Granite Post has been putting out a lot of great content on this. If you follow Granite Post on social media, they're great. But talking about the Sununus, talking about how like this is a dynasty family. This is it's gross, right? We know that, but I think people on the left love to like throw rocks at them over there, but we have the same exact problem over here. So we have the Shaheen dynasty, and I'm gonna keep talking about it. It's the Shaheen and Gordon dynasty. We've got Jeanne Shaheen, we've got her husband Bill Shaheen, who owns Shaheen and Gordon, who has we need our red string board exactly.
It's so
Jeanne
true.
Shaheen. I had slides yesterday. I gotta pull. I'll find them and pull them back up. But we've got Jeanne Shaheen. We've got her husband, Bill Shaheen, who owns one of the most powerful law firms in the entire state, who is literally the lawyer for the Democratic Party. He holds our seat for the New Hampshire or for the Democratic Convention. We have an employee of Shaheen and Gordon who sits on the Rules Committee, who sits on, I believe who sits on the Rules Committee. And now we have Bill Shaheen and Jeanne Shaheen's daughter running for Congress. So we have Stephanie Shaheen running for Congress. She's coming out against what her mother did. She says she's like doesn't agree with it. I think that my personal opinion is that she came out with that statement because she knew how much backlash that she would get specifically from the New Hampshire progressive community that is like taking form online, because she knew we were going to fucking come jugular with that one, as we should, because again, as we keep saying, there is no daylight between these people. Okay, when we're talking about our federal delegation, they vote together, they fundraise together, they hang out at parties together, they marry each other, they marry each other's kids. They all have this little incestuous circle of like power that is concentrated at the top, and they're making all of our decisions. They are hand selecting all of the people who get to have positions at the top. And like we showed earlier, we showed this breakdown of like how much you have to pay to go to their parties and sit at their cool kids table. You have to pay $2,000 if you want to sit at the cool kids table. So these people are absolutely like running our shit left and right. And so I think it's important that as we are elevating our progressive candidates, we are also continually pointing to the system that has been created here in New Hampshire and has been allowed to thrive. It has thrived here, and so we have to continue to be pointing people to that direction so they understand there is this thing that happens with a lot of people in New Hampshire consciousness that aren't paying close attention, where they like this idea of like the family connections, and there's something that like it appeals to something nice in them of like, oh, that's her daughter's gonna do it now. It isn't that great. No, because I want somebody who's ever had to hold a fucking job. I want somebody in office who's had to hold a real job one time in their life. I don't want any more trust fund babies. I don't want any more Nepo babies. And we all need to be a lot louder about that, because time is running out to elevate the progressive candidates that are running in these races. And if we just let them skate on with name recognition, we're fucked. Go ahead, Arya.
Yeah, this is the time. This is the time. And I just pulled up a Fox News article that is like obviously, talking about the family rift, but don't be tricked. Okay. Stephanie Shaheen wrote 2 statements. She knew what was coming. She wrote 2 statements, was going to wait to see what the backlash was, release the statement that says, you know what, I disagree with my mom. But guess what? As Pat is saying on the account, and what I am going to give as free advice to that congressional race, people that are running against Stephanie Shaheen, is she can't have it both ways, just like Pat Lynch is saying. You can't run from your mom and then run on her campaign, right? So if I am a member of the progressive wing and I'm running against her in the primary, I ask her, how will you differ than Jeanne Shaheen? I want to know, because right now we want someone who is the opposite of Jeanne Shaheen. We want someone that is completely the progressive, like on the other side of the wing of Jeanne Shaheen. So you are going to put her in a very difficult strategic corner. She either has to run directly from her mom's legacy in New Hampshire. Like really, I mean, I feel like the type of insurgent kind of progressives that are coming up, I use the word insurgent strategically here, because we have become insurgents in the party. Don't get it twisted. These are our adversaries now. They're not our teammates here. Jeanne Shaheen is not our teammate. Okay, Maggie Hassan isn't our teammate. That's the perspective change I'm trying to kind of proselytize out here. That these are not our teammates. Their decisions do not have us in mind. It has their own power in mind. So we need to behave accordingly. And we need to put them into very uncomfortable corners. We need to force Stephanie Shaheen to trash her mom's legacy. I hate to put it that way. But you did this to us. You put us in this position, right? You put us in the position to be able to criticize your nepotism in a state of the country that is feeling, again, the state of the party, we feel completely abandoned by you guys. So tell me how being Jeanne Shaheen's daughter helps you here. You got to make the case now. Like the people have built their own thoughts on who you are. Like before, it was a good thing. It was a good thing that you were the daughter of Jeanne Shaheen. Maybe it's not a good thing anymore. And we see that in the response, which is completely orchestrated. Do not think that there's some infighting between the Shaheen family. That is not happening. Okay, it is completely orchestrated. All of this is orchestrated down to the point of the Democrats actually negotiating on this deal. Don't let anyone kind of sideswipe the reasoning. All it is capitalism. Whether it's the airlines or Israel or whatever, it's capitalism. That's what this is. It is capitalism. Capitalism complained and they budged. In a week from the time Amanda made that video, or 2 weeks, whatever that time was, capitalism entered the chat, and that's how quickly they moved overnight. After a New York City election win, nothing is going to stop them from taking their words from capitalism, whether that's Sununu and the airlines, whether that's the airlines themselves. And again, I believe they think we're this stupid. I think they pick these senators really strategically. Again, outside of the primary election thing, it's also that these states have a lot of federal workers in them versus the other states, right? So there is a bit of deniability that we are thinking about the federal workers that are suffering here. But you have a problem when a whole bunch of federal workers come out of the woodwork and say, no, we're suffering for a reason here. We're doing this not so you can do this. This is not heroic. It's cowardly, And I think it is incumbent on us now to keep the energy, to keep the fire, motivation. Like you said, Marissa, the time is now. It is now. There is no other time. You have a Workers' Party candidate that's going to win the mayoral election again. For those that missed this before, in Seattle, there is the winner of that mayoral race is going to be from the Workers' Party, which is a coup, man. That should be more exciting even, I think, than New York City. Because that's, Zoran still had to run under the kind of the Democrat platform under which people criticized him for. But that's a true if that's not a bellwether, I don't know what is. I mean, so we take that excitement, we inject it here. We don't reinvent the wheel. We follow what some of these other candidates are doing. Again, not so much in like New York City, but in some of these other states that have demographics a lot like New Hampshire. I think it's possible. You're seeing it in Maine right now. Again, Graham Plattner. If you've been following me, you know I am a fan of Graham Plattner's policies, you know, and I feel like the establishment did the same thing to him, or trying to do the same thing to him. They're trying to do the progressive candidates all around the country, and it's important for us to recognize this now and be aware of it, super aware of it.
One thing I wanted to say, I have one other thought on Stephanie Shaheen, and then we can move on. I have kind of one last topic maybe before we wrap up that's a little bit more New Hampshire local as well. But in terms of Stephanie Shaheen, so she is running for Congress. If you have not been paying attention, or it's very confusing. And so I see people getting confused in the comments a lot. So I want to clarify here. Jeanne Shaheen is in the Senate. She announced that she is retiring. Right after she announced that she is retiring, Chris Pappas, who is in Congress, announced he will be running for her Senate seat. Okay. That leaves his congressional seat open. He announced that he is opening that seat. Stephanie Shaheen announced that she will be running for that seat in CD1. Okay. So this all happened in a very coordinated way. You would be stupid to think that this did not happen in a very coordinated way, right? So that is what's happening here. Stephanie Shaheen is now running for that seat. CD1 is the sort of eastern side of New Hampshire, is Seacoast area, I believe, into Manchester, into Nashua. Are you in? No, you're in CD2. That's right. Duh, because Paige, obviously. So take a look at a map, figure out what district that you're in. If Jeanne Shaheen is running if Stephanie Shaheen and Jeanne Shaheen is running in your district, I would ask that I have been trying to get an answer from her because I am also in CD1. I am a constituent, and I have not been able to get an answer from Stephanie Shaheen about her perspective on fundraising, and like if she will be accepting APAC funds, will she be accepting corporate funds, will she be accepting PAC funds? A lot of candidates are coming out saying they are not, and she has not wanted to answer that question. So I would encourage others to stay on her about that and have, to Arya's point about kind of having your own convictions about who you will and will not vote for, and what is your red line, what are your lines in the sand that you will not vote for. Like mine certainly is knowing where your money is coming from. And if you're accepting money from APAC, if you are accepting money from a lot of these other PACs, I believe you are representing other interests above your constituents. And so I think it's very important we continue to press her on that, because she has just been avoiding that question. And I will also say that there's a lot of other candidates that are in that race. Heath Howard is somebody that a lot of us who are on TikTok are familiar with. A lot of us know. He has been very present at he's present at protests. He's present like where you want our politicians to be present. He's doing the work. He's like out there knocking on doors for other progressive candidates. Like he I think is really like doing the right thing and has very good intentions. So we're actually going to talk to Heath. He is planning on being on the show on Friday. So we're going to chat with him about this as well. But I would say take a look into him as a candidate. Now is the time that we have to bolster these progressive candidates. They have to get some wind under their sails. They have to get some traction early, because it's so hard to fundraise when you're not taking money from PACs. So we have to donate when we can, contribute when we can, but also just your social media support can do that. Somebody in the comments, I think Joe, says the fact that IBEW Local 104 has endorsed Heath is incredible. So he is a union-backed candidate. He gets a lot of union support. I always say, I think Heath is one of those people that is like able to work with a lot of different kinds of folks. And I think my motivation behind a lot of the local work that we're doing is that I think we're in a situation where the federal government is collapsing, right? Like, I think that that's just the reality, is that the programs and the systems that we've trusted to exist are not going to continue to exist in the way that they once did. Even if suddenly the tide turns tomorrow, we're not going to have a Department of Education back, right? Like it's going to take us a long time to rebuild any sort of central federal government in the way that we've been able to rely on it in the past. That just, not to be defeatist, I say that because I think our regional leadership is going to be incredibly important. And so that's why I think, while it's easy to get sucked into what's happening on a local level because it's such a train wreck every single day. We have to be investing in our leadership here because that's who's going to pull us out of this. And I think Heath is the type of person that I think will actually like get in there and like can do some of the governing kind of stuff that and work across the aisle. So I like Heath Howard, and he'll be on Friday. And yeah, he's a union guy. So keep the pressure on young Shaheen. That's all I got on that. Anything else?
No,
Arya?
I mean, you pretty much said everything. Is just being in tune to how the state politics work and how it's like kind of musical chairs by the establishment. But we have our own candidates. Yell it to them from the mountaintops. And again, I do believe outside of the connective tissue between these progressive candidates, I do believe it's also very important to get some support from national progressives. I do believe it is necessary. You know, like for candidates in New Hampshire to get big enough to have the kind of media attention that some of these other insurgent candidates have, like Kat Abu-Ghazala in Illinois, like again Graham Plattner in Maine, Sycat in who's going after Pelosi's seat, who just retired, who's sniffing the winds too, right? Minnesota has got a whole bunch of exciting candidates. Omar Fateh running for governor. They have another guy primarying the senator, I think, running. Or there's an open Senate seat. Gary Peters, one of the guys that voted on this, who's one of the 8 senators. He's retiring. He is one of the open seats in Michigan. That there is very exciting progressives, and it is what I'm going to end up doing is making videos about these people as someone who is from New Hampshire talk as well, because I believe it is so necessary. As much as the fact that I've heard of Sycat in San Francisco, I think is important. That's an important thing. Having that east-west support of like this working class coalition is important for us to give our nods out there, because there'll be a point where maybe we need Sycat to like come and help us out over here, right? Like these are the kinds of things that are not impossible to consider. You've just never considered them because New Hampshire has never had a true progressive community, a true progressive movement that could shoot out the same signal flares that some of these other states are doing. And again, we can be that group. We can be the insurgents coming out of New Hampshire. And I think that's going to be important for us to do. And I think we can do it with this crew. I feel very confident with the people that make us grow every day. I think it's definitely a possibility. So keep it up. Keep up the pressure however you can.
All right, last thought from me. I've got last topic from me, and then we got to wrap up round 2. Arya, I bumped something else at the bot. Oh wait, no, I didn't.
Course.
I didn't hit send. Here we go.
How dare you?
There we go.
Right.
So this is a video from Ben Ming, who is a member of NH Talk. Ben's a recent addition. I feel like he showed up in the last couple of months. He's a former state rep, and he has a lot of great insights to share about what happens at the State House specifically. If you are sort of net new to this conversation, New Hampshire has like 400 state reps. We have an insane amount of we have an insane amount of state reps, and a lot of them are part of this Free State Project, which is a libertarian. They call themselves a libertarian movement, and essentially their goal is to dismantle as many of our rights and our programs as possible. They do it in the name of small government, but they also are the first ones to want to take away reproductive rights and make women have to show extra identification to vote, things like that. So when you hear about the crazy shit that's coming out of State House, this is the stuff that like will occasionally go viral on like, we'll break into normie TikTok or normie social media about like crazy things coming out of the New Hampshire State House. That's the Free State movement. And so we absolutely have to be paying attention to this, and we have to be so why don't we'll watch this video and then we can chat about
maybe
it.
One of these episodes we'll talk about the Free State movement in full, so we can really teach people, because I feel like that is an important part of this conversation ultimately too.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if Justin's still here, but we had a good chat with Justin on NH Talk about it as well. But yeah, let's watch this video for now.
I know the timing on this isn't great, given all the conversations happening on the government shutdown negotiations, but I just wanted to let everyone on NH Talk know that the first wave of bills being considered in 2026 is now available on the New Hampshire General Court website. So if you go to the LSR list and click on a link like this one, HB 1001 text, it'll bring you to a page that has the full text of the bill, and you'll be able to see what the bill is actually trying to do and not just guess based on the title. Now, if you have any particular interest in any of the legislation that's being proposed, now would be a really good time to research it, because once committee hearings start up in January, there just won't be the time to do a deep dive on every single one of these bills. And I'm going to try to track as many of these as I can, but just be interested to hear what people are tracking on their own.
So I really appreciate Ben's content. If you're not following him already, very clearly very intelligent and like can speak clearly about kind of some of this stuff that's like pretty dense and a little bit over my head sometimes. And so I'm really appreciative of that kind of content in our community. So I flag that now because there's a lot of bills already that he's talking about that we're gonna be hearing about, right? And so I'll just speak from my own perspective of kind of my experience of what life was like last winter as a person who had never paid attention to New Hampshire politics before, but suddenly was starting, right? I just was starting to post about what I was hearing, posting online. I followed Ken's Nicholson, who I don't know if you got like she was my gateway drug into like she was sort of the origin, I feel like, for NH Talk for a lot of people. But she was talking about a lot of these bills that were coming out of the state house that were extremely like scary and intense. We're talking about a 15-week abortion ban and all this kind of stuff that we're like, hold on, what the fuck, right? While we're trying to process what's happening at a federal level, it was like the free staters were like locked and loaded to just lob more bullshit at us, right? And what was happening was like, I don't think people were really the normies, we weren't prepared, right? But this year, we're prepared. Last year, we weren't prepared, and we still were able to do incredible work because there's a lot of advocacy orgs. There's a lot of great groups. I mentioned Ken's. She's with a group called Moms Rising, and they're specifically an advocacy group that focuses on needs for working families. They help write legislation. They help raise awareness about different bills and stuff that are happening. So there are these advocacy groups that are doing this work that help surface what bills are important, what should we be fighting for. It's also important that we're all ready to show up, right? So I think last year what happened was a lot of folks were signing in online in support or in opposition of these bills, and these websites were getting flooded with like I think the abortion ban got something like maybe 15,000, don't quote me on this, but it was like 15,000 people signed in opposition of it, and they just immediately scrapped it because it was too much. And so these people, the Free State folks, a lot of local officials, it's the same thing where they're not used to getting this level of backlash. And we have the ability to like really push and provide some pressure. And we are prepared to do that this year. I am going to be putting a lot of fucking pressure on people this year. And it is, and I know that you are all ready to do that work as well. People in the comments are already scheming, and I love it. So we're very engaged. And so I share this to say, not necessarily that we all have to do this homework. This is not for everybody. But if you're interested in this kind of stuff, somebody in the Twitch chat earlier made this comparison about like a choir can hold a note forever because people take breaks and the rest of the choir will keep the note going. And I think that speaks to the truth of rest. And that also speaks to the truth of we all have different skills and different things that we can bring to the table, right? I can get shit to go viral, right? And I can show up and be loud on a microphone. Those are things I can do. And so I'm planning on doing that when these bills start coming up and some of this fuckery starts coming to the front. I'm going to be there. And Arya and I have already talked about this, is we are going to be a very physical presence this year in Concord, and we're going to be around as much as possible. And we're going to lean on those advocacy orgs to tell us when is the time to activate around some of these specific problematic bills. And we are going to be there, and we are going to be bringing cameras, and we are going to be doing this shit. And be present. And so we're going to ask a lot of you guys as well to be there with us, because while we're fighting these battles on a federal level, we also need to protect each other here at home, and we have to show up to protect each other. That means we have to be willing to get in our cars when we can. And again, I know everyone can't do this. Some people can read through all this stuff and analyze it and help us understand it. And that's important work that I can't do. But one of the things that I can do is get in a car and go to Concord and yell at people on a mic. And so I'm going to do that. And I encourage all of you, as we head into this winter season, things in January are going to kick off really fast, and it's going to feel overwhelming, and you're going to get hit with a flood of like bad news, it feels like. And I'm just telling you that now so we can prepare ourselves and say that like, we're ready for this and we are going to fight back. We fought back last year and we had no structure. We did this online structure didn't exist that we have now. We now have systems in place to support us and we are going to use them. So think about, do a little bit of soul searching. If you're part of this community that's like with us every day too, or you're watching our clips or whatever, do a little bit of soul searching about how you can be useful in this fight, because we need everyone to show up. And this has all been preparation for what's going to happen next year. We have more work to do. This is not going to get easier, but we are getting smarter and we are getting, our machine is getting tighter and we are getting stronger and we are getting louder. So think about how you are going to be able to show up in a different way than you did last winter and what you can do. We cannot all do everything, but we can, whether you can, you're in the comments, you're boosting stuff, whatever your piece is, think about it and how you can do it as we head into the next year. Somebody's plugging the Discord as well. If somebody could drop a link to the Discord, potentially in TikTok as well. I think my share link is broken. I'll fix it after the live. But we have a Discord with over 100 people in it from all over the state who are enthusiastic about activating. And let's do it, guys. So that's my thought. Arya, you did a quick skim. Anything interesting jump out to you?
Not really. I mean, this is purposely. Some of this stuff is purposely vague. I mean, like it's like relative to this, and this is not the correct way. This is just purely the LSR website and the titles of the LSR. But some of these, I mean, like relative to landfills. What does that mean? You know, so it's like they make this as difficult for you as possible. I am going to try to make this a little bit easier for you guys. I'm going to go through this today because I do believe that there are probably a handful of these that are borderline hilarious. Reading some of these, like about making like, you know, the state drink like maple syrup or something. Like I think I saw that somewhere in the skimming this or something. I don't know. So, some really stupid stuff that obviously there's 1,060 LSRs, 1,060. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of them are just going to be really stupid. So I'm going to try to go through this and see if I can find some really, you know, what the important ones are. I do know there is a Gaza related one in here that I helped Paige Boschman write. So I'm excited to see who the other co-sponsors of that LSR are. And there are going to be other really important issues here that we're going to, you know, gambling, law enforcement related stuff, drinking water, infrastructure, NDAs for physician associates. I don't know. Some of this stuff is, I'm going to have to really dig into this stuff, but just again, I don't want to speak we only have like a couple minutes. John Kuiper and Paige Boschman, another shout out. If you're on TikTok, go to John Kuiper's TikTok. He's going to be chatting our Insurgent Democratic nominee for governor, as well as Paige Boschman, who I'm working for, is running in CD2 to primary Maggie Goodlander. They're going to be speaking to each other. They're talking now. And just keep it up, guys. We're going to be here. You're going to hear from us Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We are live, same time. Friday, we're going to talk to Heath Howard, hopefully. That's going to be an awesome conversation. And the hashtag NH Talk, that's how we find each other, you know. So anytime you want to find us, you want to find what's going on in New Hampshire, you want to reach out to me, reach out to Marissa. NH Talk, we live and die by that hashtag for now. So yeah, I appreciate everyone coming, and that's it for me. Keep up the fight. You guys are doing great here in New Hampshire. We're really we're making people notice us right now.
Absolutely. We love you guys. Go watch John Kuiper if you want to keep watching.
John Kuiper.
See ya. Bye, friends.
All right, bye.
I'm going to start hanging up on TikTok first instead of Twitch because